St. Augustine, Commentary on the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 90 to 40, following. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can't of himself do anything, but what he sees the Father doing. For what things soever he has done, these also the Son does in like manner. Yes, the heaven, the earth, the sea, the things that are in heaven, on the earth, and in the sea, the visible and invisible, the animals on the land, the plants in the fields, the creatures that swim in the waters, that fly in the air, that shine in heaven, besides all these, angels, virtues, thrones, dominations, principalities, powers, all were made by him. Did God make all these and show them when made to the Son, that he also should make another world full of all these? Certainly not. But on the contrary, what does he say? For what things soever he has made, these, not others, but these also the Son does, not differently, but in like manner. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all things which himself does. The Father shows to the Son that souls may be raised, for souls are raised up by the Father and the Son. Nor can souls live except God be their life. If souls then can't live unless God be their life, just as themselves are the life of bodies, what the Father shows to the Son, that is what he does through the Son. For it is not by doing that he shows to the Son, but by showing he does through the Son. For the Son sees the Father showing before anything is done, and from the Father's showing and the Son's vision is done what is done by the Father through the Son. So are souls raised up if they can see that conjunction of unity, the Father showing, the Son seeing, and the creature made by the Father's showing and the Son's seeing. And that thing made by the Father's showing and the Son's seeing, which is neither the Father nor the Son, but beneath the Father and the Son, whatever is made by the Father through the Son. Who sees this? Behold again, we humble ourselves to carnal notions, and descend to you if indeed we had at any time ascended somewhat from you. You wish to show something to your Son, that he may do what you do. You are about to do, and thus to show the thing. Therefore, what you are about to do in order to show it to your Son, you do not surely by your Son, but you alone do that thing which, when done, he may see, and do another such thing in like manner. This is not the case there. Why do you go on to your own similitude and blot out the similitude of God within you? There, the case is wholly otherwise. Find a case in which you show to your Son what you do before you do it, so that after you have shown it, it will be by the Son you do. Perhaps something like this now occurs to you. Lo, do you say, I think to make a house, and I wish it to be built by my Son. Before I build it myself, I point out to my Son what I mean to do. Both he does, and I too by him, to whom I pointed out my wish. You have retreated indeed from the former similitude, but still you lie in great dissimilitude. For lo, before you can make the house, you do inform your Son, and point out to him what you mean to do, that upon your showing before you make, he may make what you have shown, and so you may make by him. But you will speak words to your son, words will have to pass between you and him, between the person showing and the person seeing, between speaker and hearer. Flies articulate sound, which is not what you are, nor what he is. That sound indeed which goes out to your mouth, and by the concussion of the air touches your son's ear, and filling the sense of hearing, conveys your thought to his heart. That sound, I say, is not yourself, not your son. A sign is given from your mind to your son's mind, but that sign not either your mind or your son's mind, but something else. Is it thus that we think the Father has spoken to the Son? Were there words between the Father and the Word? Then how is it? Or whatever the Father would say to the Son, if he would say it by a word, the Son himself is the Word of the Father. Would he speak by a word to the Word? Or since the Son is the great Word, had smaller words to pass between the Father and Son? Was it so that some sound, as it were a temporal, fleeting creature, had to issue from the mouth of the Father and strike upon the ear of the Son? Has God a body that this should proceed, as it were, from his lips? And has the Word the ears of a body into which sound may come? Lay aside all notions of corporeal forms, regard simplicity, if you are single-minded. But how will you be single-minded if you will not entangle yourself with the world, but disentangle yourself from the world? For by disentangling yourself, you will be single-minded. And see if you can what I say, or if you can't, believe what you do not see. You speak to your son, you speak by a word. Neither are you, nor is your son the word that sounds. I have, say you, another method of showing, for so well instructed is my son, that he hears without my speaking, and I show him by a nod what to do. Lo, show him by a nod what you will, yet certainly the mind holds within itself that which it would show. By what do you give this nod? With the body, namely, with the lips, the look, the brows, the eyes, the hands. All these are not what your mind is. These two are media. There are something understood by these signs which are not what your mind is, not what the mind of your son is. But all this which you do by the body is beneath your mind, and beneath the mind of your son. Nor can your son know your mind unless you give him signs by the body. What then do I say? This is not the case there. There all is simplicity. The Father shows to the Son what he is doing, and by showing begets the Son. I see what I have said, but because I see also to whom I have said it, may such understanding be sometime or other formed in you as to grasp it. If you are not able now to comprehend what God is, comprehend at least what God is not. You will have made much progress if you think of God as being not something other than He is. God is not a body, not the earth, not the heaven, not the moon or sun or stars, not these corporeal things. For if not heavenly things, how much less is He earthly things? Put all body out of the question. Further, hear another thing. God is not a mutable spirit, for I confess, and it must be confessed, that it is the gospel that speaks it. God is a spirit. but pass beyond all mutable spirit, beyond all spirit that now knows not, that now remembers, now forgets, that wills what before it willed not, that wills not what before it willed, either that suffers these mutabilities now or may suffer them, pass beyond all these. You find not any mutability in God, nor aught that may have been one way before and is otherwise now. For where you find alternation, there a kind of death has taken place, since for a thing not to be what it was is a death. The soul is said to be immortal, so indeed it is, because it ever lives, and there is in it a certain continuous life, but yet a mutable life. According to the mutability of this life, it may be said to be mortal, because if it lived wisely and then becomes foolish, it dies for the worse. If it lived foolishly and becomes wise, it dies for the better. For the Scripture teaches us that there is a death for the worse, and that there is a death for the better. In any case, they had died for the worse, of whom it said, "Let the dead bury their dead." Matthew 8:22. And awake you that sleep, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light. Ephesians 5:14. And from this passage before us, when the dead shall hear, and they shall hear, shall live. For the worse they had died, therefore do they come to life again. By coming to life they die for the better, because by coming to life again they will not be what they were, but for that to be which was not is death. But perhaps it is not called death if it is for the better. The Apostle has called that death. But if you be dead with Christ from the elements of this world, why do you judge concerning this world as if you were still living? Colossians 2:20. And again, for you are dead and your life is hid with Christ in God. He wishes to die that we may live, because we have lived to die. Whatever therefore dies, both from better to worse and from worse to better, is not God, because neither can supreme goodness proceed to better, nor to eternity to worse. For true eternity is where is nothing of time. But was there now this, now that? Immediately time is admitted, it is not eternal. For that you may know that God is not thus as the soul is, certainly the soul is immortal. For what you may know that God is not thus as the soul is, certainly the soul is immortal. What, however, says the Apostle of God, who alone has immortality, unless that he openly says this, he alone has unchangeableness, because he alone has true eternity. Therefore, no mutability is there.